Hello and salutations, it's me, Salty. Welcome back to 2 Cents Toys, and today we're going over the Star Wars Black Series Gaming Grade Scout Trooper from Jedi Fallen Order. I got this from GameStop, as you might imagine. It was $22.99, $25.99, something like that before tax. I think the gaming grades are more expensive than regular Black Series, but, it could just be the price changing over the line. So, looking at the box, you see we get Black Series Gaming Grade Scout Trooper with some artwork down here. Scout Trooper himself with his electro baton and his little blaster. Top of the box is blank with a plastic J-hook. Yup. Side of the box is this baby blue with Scout Trooper Gaming Grades. Other side of the box is with Scout Trooper right there. Back of the box is the same artwork, a little bit of read up legalese. All out of the way and get him out of the box. Look at the accessories, go over articulation, and we'll do a side by side with him and the other Scout Trooper that I have, which is still broken because I haven't fixed him yet. Starting with accessories, we got the little Scout blaster, which we've seen a couple times. Just cast in black, no painted detail or anything like that. Fits in a little boot holster just fine. And kind of fits in the hand. It's a little small, but you can kind of wedge it in there. Which brings us to the stun baton, which has a little effect on it that kind of rolls around. I've tried to take it off, and it just doesn't seem to want to come off. But it's a nice new accessory, at least new to me anyway. And this is how it looks in the box. So there's a design feature that's not inherently obvious when you see it, but it is able to collapse in on itself. And I've tried kind of force this up over, but eventually it just kind of gets stuck and won't come off. Never mind, I got it off. It just requires some finesse and some elbow grease. And there's a little groove back here on the charge pack of the Scout Trooper, which we'll go over this again later, but I think it's meant to hold this, and it's not big enough to hold it there or on the grip. There is this little block here that I can kind of get it to hold it like that. It'll hold it, but you have to be very ginger because if you touch it, it falls right out. I'm not sure if that's what it's meant for, but I can get it to hold it at least a little bit. Since we're already here, let's actually go ahead and talk about this harness, which is the new defining feature between it and the original Scout Trooper. So, lots of nice sculpted detail here on the straps and painted detail. The kind of wire here has a little bit of overspray there on the strap, but that is what it is, I guess. Otherwise, very nice sculpted detail throughout, to include little pads there. And that continues on to the back. We can see the straps to tighten it and all that, and the charge pack. I'm assuming charge pack because there's a kind of cable that runs up onto the shoulder in the front and then plugs down here into the back, which just kind of looks like the interior of a gonk droid. Who knows? And speaking of that, this wire that runs down is very taut to this contraption here on the wrist. So when you go to move, it kind of stretches it a little bit. So I find you kind of have to move this part on the wrist down past the glove a little bit, and then you'll be able to move the arm a little bit further. It also loves to get stuck behind this pauldron, so you kind of have to bring it up and over, but also you got to bend the elbow, and that gives you a lot more movement because you can move this thing around. It's a little fiddly, but since we're talking about that, let's go ahead and go over articulation. We'll do our final comparison, and then we'll call it a day. He's able to look up that far, look down that far. It of course gets side to side, teeny bit of tilt. Now, like I mentioned, spinning 360 on this is a little difficult because once you go forward, it starts stretching that cable. So if you bend the elbow, you can get it to go 360 because you got to take the tension off that, but then the cable ends up on the inside of the arm. It's very reminiscent of Lord Zed from the Lightning Collection, how he has all those tubes and everywhere, you kind of have to work around it. Now, bringing the arms up, these pauldrons love to kind of crush or squish or crash into these little shoulder pads. So I find that you kind of have to move the strap over as far as it'll go, and then kind of give the pauldron a little bit of encouragement. Kind of have to bring it out a little bit, and then get the pauldron up over that, and the shoulder will come up to a 90. We also have a bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows come all the way up so we can scratch the back of his head. We have wrist swivel, and both wrists on this figure are trigger hands, so they hinge up and down. Now, the original Scout Trooper had those big pouches here in the abdomen, which didn't allow him to crunch forward very far, and even though those are gone, and you have a little bit more room, that hasn't really changed. That being as far forward as he can lean, and that being as far back as he can lean, because the battery pack kind of crashes into the bottom well of the armor here. You get a little side to side, and that's it. And the swivel is really hindered by the straps here, especially in the back. You can see that it crashes into those. He is able to kick forward at a 90, kick back about that far. That's as far as he can kick out. We do have a thigh swivel. Double joint in the knee comes up that far. Boot swivel. Ankle goes back, forward, and ankle rocker. Now, on this particular Biker Scout, the bottom hinge on the right knee has no detents at all. Just wobbles, and the right boot is incredibly loose. Now, these are the two that I own side by side. This is the archive version, not the original with the speeder bike. But you can see there's some paint differences there. where there's gray versus black. They've opted not to paint the hinge on the helmet on either side. They've also eliminated paint on the back almost completely to include the belt. And now is devoid of all paint where there was paint on this one. And they used to do black with a red line, now they have silver. They went with beige on the straps here, and I've already pointed out that they used to have pouches and they've foregone pouches for this harness. And they went with a muddy version for the archive versus no paint for this one to include mud on the bottom versus gray. They also opted for gray on the back of the elbow pad instead of black. And that's really all I got for today. I picked up two, as you can see, and the other one didn't have the problem with the knee or the boot. So, quality control might not be the best on this figure. The strap or the cable running down the arm, you can work around it, kind of annoying, honestly. But time and time again, I'm reminded how happy I am that I got Cal Kestis. You could work one of these into a regular display or just a troop builder anyway, but it's nice to have things that kind of marry up to each other. But let me know down below what you think of the Biker Scout, if you're going to get one, if you're not going to get one. I saw the Archive series Scout Troopers kind of going for a hefty price now, and then they've also got the new one coming out on Amazon with the speeder bike, which really makes this one completely optional. But anyway, if you like what you saw today, and all that I ask is that you click like on the video and subscribe to the channel. It's a great way to help me out, and I always appreciate it. And I do thank you for stopping by today and spending some time with me. So, until next time, I'm Salty, signing off.